The first longship hits the sand before the sun is fully up, then a second, then a third. Men are already pouring over the sides, dozens of them, running up the beach toward your village with axes in their hands and shields on their backs. Nobody sent word. Nobody saw them coming. You are standing in your doorway with a fishing net in your hands, and you have about 90 seconds to make the only decision that will matter today. It is the year 793. You live on the cold northern coast of England, in a small village beside a monastery. The wind here never really stops. The sea is gray almost every day of the year. You are not a soldier. You have never held a weapon in your life. You are a fisherman, or a farmer, or a servant who carries water to the monk's kitchen. Your whole world is small. The boats, the fields, the bell that rings to mark every part of every day. For weeks, people have been whispering about strange signs, storms that came out of nothing, lights in the night sky. The old people said it meant something was coming. You did not listen. Who could? But now there are 3 ships on your beach, and the men running toward you are not lost traders. Here is what you do not understand yet. These men did not sail all this way to fight a battle. They came for speed. They want silver and gold and food and people they can carry away and sell. And more than anything, they want to be gone again before anyone can gather enough men to stop them. That changes everything about how today works. The danger is not spread out across the morning. It is crushed into the next 10 minutes. Almost everyone who dies today will die in those first minutes. Not because the raiders cannot be beaten, but because of what fear makes ordinary people do. The bell finally starts ringing. Far too late. People are screaming now. You can hear it rolling up from the harbor. Some are running toward the church. Some are running down toward the boats. Some are just standing in the road, frozen, mouths open, exactly like you. You have 3 choices, and you have seconds to choose. You can fight. You can run to the church with everyone else. Or you can turn your back on the sea and run inland, away from your home, away from everything you have ever owned. Every part of you is screaming to protect what is yours. That instinct is about to get most of your neighbors killed. Watch the people running into the church. It feels right. It is the strongest building in the village. It is made of stone. It is holy. It is where the silver and the golden cups are kept. Surely, of all the places in the world, that is where you will be safe. The raiders are thinking the exact same thing. The church is not the last place they will go. It is the first. Everyone hiding inside those walls is hiding inside the target. They are not behind the treasure. They are standing on top of it. Now watch the men who grab tools to make a stand. A farmer holding a wooden hoe, facing a grown raider with an iron axe, a shield, and years of doing exactly this. That is not a fight. It is an execution that takes about 4 seconds. The raiders do not want a slow battle, but they will cut down anyone who gets in their way without slowing their step at all. So your 2 most natural instincts: defend your home, run to the holy place. Those are the 2 fastest ways to die this morning. If you have children, the fear doubles. You want to grab them and lock them inside the house with you. Walls feel like safety, but a wooden house is not safety. It is a box. And these men know exactly how to empty a box. So you do the thing that feels most like giving up. You run the other way. Away from the beach. Away from the church. Away from the harbor where the screaming is loudest. You run inland, toward the low hills and the trees, and you make yourself not look back, because looking back costs seconds, and seconds are all you have. This is the one move the raiders cannot easily answer. Their entire plan depends on those ships. Everything they steal has to be carried back across the sand and loaded onto the boats. Every single step they take away from the water is a step away from their only way home. So they will not chase you far inland. It simply is not worth it to them. There are easier people to catch closer to the beach. Get one hill between yourself and the sea, and you stop being worth the effort. And when you reach the trees, do not stop running just because you cannot see the ships anymore. Keep going. Find the thickest woods, the deepest ditch, the highest ground, and go still. Sound carries on this coast. A crying child, a snapping branch, a single shout, and a raider who was about to turn back will turn toward you instead. The ones who survive the hills are not just the fastest, they are the quietest. But you have to move now, in the first minutes, while they are still busy with the church and the harbor and the easy targets near the water. Wait too long, and the paths inland fill up with raiders spreading out to cut people off. Freeze for even a minute and you do not die. You become cargo. So, would you survive a raid like this? It would not come down to courage. Courage is what gets you killed here. It would come down to how fast you can let go. Let go of your house. Let go of your nets, your tools, your animals, everything you have saved for your whole life. You would have to understand in the very first seconds that none of it can be defended, and that trying to defend it is the trap that closes around almost everyone. Survive a raid like this, and you need speed, distance, and the cold, awful willingness to abandon everything and run while the people around you are still deciding what to do. Here is the part that still matters today. When violence comes suddenly, the instinct that feels the strongest. Stand your ground. Protect what is yours. That is so often the instinct that kills you. Panic does not only freeze people, it sends them running, usually toward the crowd, toward the noise, toward the obvious place. Because the obvious place feels safe, even when it is the most dangerous spot of all. The people who lived through raids like this were not the bravest in the village. They were the ones who could think clearly for 10 terrible seconds, while everyone around them could not. But here is the question almost nobody asks. The raiders did not kill everyone. They did not even want to. The young, the strong, the healthy. They were not killed. They were taken, dragged across the sand, loaded onto those longships, and carried away across the open sea to be sold in a market they had never heard of. And for many of them, what waited at the end of that voyage was far worse than anything that happened on the beach. So maybe the real question is not whether you could survive the raid. It is whether you could survive what came after it.